Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Greider. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. I'm so honored to be connecting in with you in December. So we're already at mid-December. I can't believe how quickly time goes. And what an honor and opportunity for us to stop for a moment in the hustle and bustle of the season. Take a breath together and allow ourselves to be poured into, to kind of reconnect, take a moment to receive as we give so much during the holiday season and we run around and race around so much. It's really important that we remember to stop, pause, take a breath, allow ourselves to be poured into so that as we go back out into the world, we can do so in a mindful way, in a purposeful way, each and every breath and step that we take. So welcome. We're so honored to be having this moment and this time of connection with you. And I want to invite you to get the most out of our time together. So let's choose to be present. Let's choose to be fully here, mind, body, soul, and spirit. We have an amazing guest today who I know is going to inspire you, stretch you, uplift you, encourage you, and cheer you on in an incredible way. And I want you to receive all the insight and encouragement and inspiration that is here for you today. So those of you who are driving, please stay safe. Keep both hands on the wheel, but inwardly tuning in. Those of you who are able to really take a moment to sit back in your chair, both feet on the floor. Take a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, like through a straw. Beautiful. Take another breath. Expand your belly, see how big you can make it. Wonderful. This kind of breathing helps bring us present. Keep breathing. Lowers our cortisol levels, our stress levels, brings oxygen to every cell of our body, and it helps us, when we have oxygen throughout every cell of our body, feel better, be more alert, make great choices and decisions with purpose. Instead of our day running us, we can be more in charge of the flow of the day and what we say yes and no to as the day unfolds. So taking these moments, these breaths, can help center and ground us and help us choose to be purposeful and mindful in what we're doing. Beautiful. So as you're breathing, I want to encourage you to close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. This moment's for you. To put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head as a reminder to bring all of you in, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Keep breathing. And as you're doing so, let's take a moment and check in. What is it that you need today? What is it that will encourage you, empower you, uplift you? What is it that you need to support you today? Let's take a moment and feel into that. Let's add to that, not only what is it that you need, but are willing to receive because you have choice. So what is it that you need and are willing to receive? See if that shifts and alters the information, the insight a little bit. Wonderful. Receive that information. Then let's come back into the room fully present. Take a breath, eyes open. Wonderful. Let's take a moment and write down what it was that was placed on your heart that you need today, that you are willing to receive real time. This helps make it a reality. You're bringing it into real time. It keeps it top of mind so that you can see it and identify. And there's a direct connection. The reason we encourage writing from your hand to your heart. So as you're tapping into your heart, this is a wonderful way to connect into that insight and wisdom and awareness. Because sometimes we get so busy we're not even paying attention to what it is that we need. And we can sometimes miss that answer, that opportunity that's right in front of us because we're so busy and distracted. So let's keep it top of mind what it is that you need and are willing to receive, being unattached to how. In fact, looking forward to the wonderful way in which this need will be met, an unexpected, surprising, wonderful way that answer, that support will come in. Let's breathe that in. So we celebrate that together. Connecting heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And we're going to go around our virtual room here today and connect in with our amazing guest expert, Tessa Greenspan. And Tessa, I would love for you to take a moment and just share when we stopped, paused, and listened, what was laid on your heart that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Well, I have the word joy, and it isn't that I don't have it, but I don't know that you can ever have enough. So joy is my word for today.
I love that. Joy. 3 times. We embrace that. And I agree, we can never have too much. So really embracing and bringing that in. Beautiful. I think for myself, as I felt in, I was feeling the high energy of the season, and underneath it a desire to really connect in, ground, and be centered, so that in the season there's purposefulness, and I identify with that joy too, a joy and a wonder in the season. So really beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Tessa.
You're welcome.
And as we get ready to go to our first commercial break, listeners, I want to encourage you to stay present during these 2 minutes as these beautiful commercials are playing in the background with insights and updates we want you to be aware of. Choose to be present. Resist that urge to go cross things off the to-do list and get distracted and going off in another direction. Instead, choose to be present. Give yourself these 2 minutes to connect in, to listen, see what your word of the day is that you want to claim and choose to be in and to bring forward. And with that, we'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
The future of online TV is here. View exclusive content from your favorite talk radio hosts and new programs that you can't see anywhere else. Visit voiceamerica.tv today.
Want to improve your health, business, and life just by listening to a radio show? Well, we can at least move you in the right direction. Listen for Spotlight, the Allison H. Larson Show. Each week, Allison will speak with amazing guests and find out what's changed their lives and how they are changing the lives of others. From beauty to health to business and personal relationships, we're here to inspire you to live your life of passion. Listen every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern on the Voice America Influencers channel.
Get ready for High Vibin' It with hosts Lindsay Robinson and Kelsey Aida. This is an all-new look at self-empowerment and lifestyle design. If you're still trying to figure out the law of attraction, spirituality, self-love, and more, we'll break it down for you. You can create the life of your dreams and own your power. Listen for High Vibin' It. We're live every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Influencers channel. This will be 1 hour you will make time for.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you had that opportunity to stop, pause, and listen and see what was being laid on your heart. See what word was being called forth and inspiring and that you wanted to claim for the day. And as we continue our conversation together today, I encourage you to take notes, really see what is sparking your heart and your spirit. And as we give you these opportunities, these breaks throughout the show, really give yourself that moment, those 2 minutes at a time, to stop, pause, and integrate what's being spoken into your heart and into your spirit. And here's why that can be so powerful. It can actually start to become part of you. So as you get ready to go back out into the world, you're bringing all of that with you as part of you versus adding it to your to-do list, which can sometimes be so big and we don't get to everything on that list. So instead, taking these 2 minutes can powerfully help you integrate and step forward in a very powerful and empowered way. So welcome back. We're going to be talking and are talking with our amazing Tessa Greenspan, and you're going to get to know her in a really powerful way. I wanted to share a little bit about her. You heard from her on a heart level in the opening segment, but I wanted you to know a little bit of the background of Tessa. I just feel she's an extraordinary person, and I know will be inspiring, encouraging, and uplifting to you. So Tessa Greenspan is a #1 international best-selling author. She's an influential woman in business, former owner of Snappington Farmer Market in St. Louis, Missouri. And she owned and worked for that organization, for over 28 years. She's known as a leader in business and in life, a mentor for many, many women, empowering and encouraging them. She's an inspirational speaker and passionate that, no matter where you have come from or what you have gone through, you can achieve anything. But you need to pay attention to your choices. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and inspiring Tessa Greenspan to the show. Welcome!
Thank you. Thank you.
You are welcome. I'm so excited to have you joining us today. I know it's a busy season, and with your recently launched book, it's become even busier. So I'm very honored that you are able to spend some time with us today. And I wanted to see if you would mind sharing a little bit why you believe that we can achieve anything.
Well, where do you want me to start, Rebecca?
I would love for you to start with a little bit of why you have this belief from your childhood roots to maybe highlights of some of the things that you have gone through to show us that no matter what happens in life, we can make choices that can help us achieve incredible things.
That's true. And really, the book is to honor my mother and then to help people know that they have choices. So it really starts in the back hills of Arkansas. My mother was attacked when she was 14. I am the result of that. She had me when she was 15. I was born in a house, a shack, with a dirt floor, hard dirt floor, no electricity, no running water, and an outhouse. And so hence that's where the outhouse comes from. The book is called Outhouse to Penthouse. And it doesn't really matter where you come from, it's the choices that you make in life. My mother was a phenomenal role model as far as she loved me unconditionally, which is rare in these kinds of cases. And she was made to marry a man 2 weeks before I was born because in that era it wasn't cool to not have a father. And so that began. So she had another little girl by him 23 months later. So he went into the service, and then she moved to East St. Louis, Illinois, with her sisters. And so it was really, I encourage everyone to read the book because there's a lot of really good stories as far as what's possible. my mother was this role model of never feeling sorry for herself, always looking for the solution rather than what the problem was. Never, ever felt sorry for herself. She sang gospel songs all day, every day, nearly. And she was just a joy to be around. People absolutely loved her. And so that was my beginning. There's a lot of stories of major hardships, and the one was when I was about 5, and my sister was 3. My mother was coming to get us, and a friend was driving and hit a concrete abutment going 70 miles an hour. And she was crushed from the waist down. Mm-hmm. She was in the hospital for 13 months. And after 12 months, because she was crushed from the waist down, and every kind of bone in her body was broke. So after 12 months, gangrene set in her left leg. Now, she was 20 when that happened, and so 21 when they came in and said that they have to amputate her left leg. So she's 21 years old. They had to amputate her leg. She got out of the hospital, and she had 2 kids, 1 leg, and no money. And we were on welfare. We lived in what's called the Gophers in East St. Louis, Illinois. So that's sort of the beginning. There's lots of really great stories of profiles and courage that she had.
You're
not having anybody to depend on. What?
Yeah. You're a mom. And listeners, as we take a moment and just reflect on that and really think about being 15 years old, having a child as a result of an attack and loving that child, marrying at such a young age, 2 children, then fast forward in time a little bit, 20 years old to 21, having this accident that crushes all your bones from the waist down, and then as you're recovering from that, discovering you have to have a leg amputated, and yet your mom had such a spirit of courage and positivity and love that even through all of that, a joy to be around, and she kept going forward in a powerful way. And I just want us all to take a moment and just breathe that in. What a powerful example of courage and perseverance. Would you mind sharing your mother's name? I just would love to take a moment and honor her in that way.
Right. Her name was Susie Geneva Reeder, Reeder.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And that she created such a powerful environment, even in those situations in welfare and living in a dirt shack without running water and the outhouse. And then if we fast forward your journey that is talked about in the book from the outhouse to penthouse, that you were able to step into a really powerful influential role in your life. And I know it was quite a journey in business, and I'd love for you just to highlight a few of those moments and things, just so people get that range of experience from the outhouse to the penthouse.
I will, but I wanted to say one more thing about my mother. When we were on welfare, and she didn't want to be on welfare, she was very proud. So she found a government program that taught people with disabilities how to work in an office. And so she went to school on a bus, on crutches with 1 leg while it was healing for over a year, learning to be a secretary in an office. So that's the kind of guts she had. No matter what happened to her, she was going to rise out of that particular situation. So that's the courage that I received. And also the positivity. Never, look for the rainbow. Don't look for what's happening. You find solutions for it. So fast forward, I grew up. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. I was just in agreement with you to focus on the rainbow. Look for those opportunities and rise above instead of, focusing so much on the storm clouds. So, yeah, I think that's so powerful. So, yes, continue. I'd love for you to share a little bit of some snapshots of your journey and where you are now.
Well, and there's lots of lessons in the book too, or learning, and at the end I'll tell. But I became this person that was going to find a way, just like she did. I was going to find a way out, or to find things to do, because we were poor. So I found ways to sew when I was 10, to make my own clothes because I like clothes. So lots of things. So growing up, then I got married and had 2 children, and my sister chose a different path. Mine was, I'm going to find a way, and hers was, poor me, I didn't have that opportunity, we didn't have this, and so it was always poor me. And so my sister became an alcoholic. Yeah. But she got married and had 2 children also. But she just couldn't cope with life. And so she really put her children with a brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and she left. And so my husband and I opened a little store, a fruit and produce market, and we were working really hard. So I was trying to help my sister's children. So what I did, I was looking for a way to help them even more, to buy clothes for them for school. And so my husband and I service a lot of peddlers. And so I was looking for something extra to do that I wouldn't take away from my family. So I saw these men that were driving big trucks. We serviced them. We provided the fruit and produce. And I said, I can do that. So I bought a big truck, rented an empty gravel lot, and learned to drive, and had a fruit stand, which was sort of unheard of in those days, of a woman driving a big truck. It was like a big bread truck. So, again, if I hadn't had my mother's role model, I would not have been able to do that. So I did very well, was able to help them. And then by this time, my mother was living with me, and we loved it. My children loved it. And so then I bought a store with partners after we sold our store. And my partners had been in business and owned a chain of stores for many years. And so it was our agreement that they run the store. And so...
And Tessa, I'm going to interrupt you here just a moment, because we're getting ready to go to our next commercial break. But I'm really excited that you're sharing this particular piece of your story, because it is so powerful about what happened with those partners. So, listeners, this is a little bit of a cliffhanger. It's so worth sticking with us and hearing what happened and how Tessa responded to what happened. I know you're going to be touched and inspired by it. So please do stay with us as we get ready to go to this next commercial break. Take a couple minutes and really think about some of what Tessa has shared, the courage and perseverance and tenacity of her mother, and what are some things right now that perhaps we're facing that we need to remember that we can step forward no matter what. We can choose to look for the rainbow, look for the way out, look for that next step instead of focusing on the challenge and what we're facing. Let's look for that next step, that way that we can move forward. So with that, we'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Have you friended us on Facebook yet? Why not? Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for the keywords Voice America. Once you are part of our Facebook network, you'll receive daily messages about what's happening with our shows, this week's featured guests, and new happenings at the Voice America Talk Radio Network. And you can add your voice to the always active discussions on our timeline. Just go to facebook.com/Voice America or search for Voice America.
The Voice America Live Events channel is here now to showcase your corporate, individual, or organization's live event. Visit voiceamerica.com/live events to see all of our past live events and find out more. Whether it's a multi-day conference, special speaker, or single-day event, we've got everything to make your event a success. We can do a few hours or a few days. For more information about taking your event to the next level, call Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or email info@voiceamerica.com. Again, that's Jeff Spinard at 480-294-6417 or send us an email to info@voiceamerica.com. Voice America is where you are and where you want to be. Join us around the globe as we broadcast live from some of the most interesting events available. Don't forget to view all our live events, including on-demand access to past events that you may have missed by visiting voiceamerica.com/live events.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that time, really taking a moment to stop, pause, and think about where's that rainbow, where's that way out, and focus on those types of things. And sometimes we can focus on the problem or the challenge. So I'm going to encourage you as we go through our time together today to really tap into looking for that how. And even as Tessa was sharing about, I could do that too. She learned how to drive a truck. And Tessa, I appreciate that it was a big, bright red truck, not a subtle truck, that you stepped boldly into learning and doing. And I'm really excited about the next segment and the story she's going to share. But before we go into that, I wanted to take a moment and thank our sponsor. We have a sponsor for today's show that helps make it possible. And the reason sponsors are so powerful, and I want to give attention to, because sponsors are organizations and people that believe so much in you and in this program. They are willing to put their name, brand, and reputation and heart behind what we're doing here today. So they believe in the work that we're doing here together, and they believe in you that much. So let's take a moment and open our ears and learn a little bit about this amazing sponsor. They are called 2x2 Health, Private Health Concierge, and they recently published a book this summer called The Confident Patient. It became a #1 international bestseller. It is available on Amazon in print, Kindle, and Audible. So whatever your favorite way is to enjoy a book, this is a powerful book they have made available to you. And what it's about is helping you navigate the healthcare situations that we can end up in. Maybe a loved one is going in for surgery, or they're evaluating different options, or coming through surgery and now transitioning home. And there's all these different questions we can have, and we don't always know sometimes the right questions to ask. And so what this powerful book and guide does is it helps you navigate those waters, the questions that doctors wish you would ask, or nurses wish you would ask, or people that are supporting people want you to know about, what the different terms mean, what are good questions to ask, how can you create a transition plan, and how can you stay empowered with that plan, especially during the holidays. So it's a really powerful tool. I'd really encourage you to check it out. It's an incredible book that I know will support you. This is what they like to say about this book. Through the process and tools in The Confident Patient, again, the book is called The Confident Patient, you become empowered and confident to navigate the healthcare system to get the support you need. And they want to help you become empowered and confident as you are navigating those systems. Here's what one of the amazing reviewers said. This is an engaging and practical guide for anyone who will ever visit a doctor. You don't have to go to medical school in order to be a confident patient. Just read this book. And that was written by Dr. Liz Lister. So again, we encourage you to check out this powerful book, Get to Know 2x2 Health, Private Health Concierge, and it's 2, the number 2, by the number 2 Health. I know you'll be encouraged and uplifted, and this book, I believe, belongs in every library. So please take a moment to lean in, check it out on Amazon, The Confident Patient, and 2x2 Health. We thank you so much for your support, leaning in and helping us bring powerful programs to our amazing listeners all around the world. So speaking of powerful programs, I interrupted a story that Tessa was sharing, and behind the scenes I was letting her know, I know I stopped you right there, but because I knew where she was going with this story, and it's so powerful, and I didn't want to interrupt the super powerful part midstream. So with that, Tessa, I wanted to hand the floor back to you, and you were sharing about partners that you had brought aboard to help run the business, and they had experience in running businesses that had multiple locations, and I'd love for you to continue the story.
Well, and I had known these business people. They lived in another city for 20 years, so it wasn't new people at all. So we had sold our store, and my husband was a produce buyer for a large firm, and so he went into that, and I was looking for a store. And so I went to these two men, it was a father and son, and asked them if they would like to partner with me in a fruit and produce store in St. Louis, Missouri. And they did. And so our agreement was that they ran the store because they had a lot more experience. And I was sort of a silent partner. But I take responsibility for this. I was not paying attention. And so I encourage every single person to pay attention. Don't ever let somebody else do this without you having input into it. So within 3 years, my partners, and I barely went to the store, by the way, my partners wanted a meeting. And so we had a meeting. And so they handed me the keys and said they were declaring bankruptcy. Well, they had sold their stores, and the person defaulted on the money, and so it really left them in bad shape. So it was like the shock of my life and a turning point that it was sort of hard to believe. So I took the keys, I called my lawyer, and so then I took the books home with me, and I started looking. And they had siphoned a tremendous amount of money. The father set his daughter up in a health food store through our store with transfers, many other things that you couldn't prove. So there's some powerful lessons in this. So I had to let that go. And when I got into the books, and then I had an accountant help me, they had siphoned a tremendous amount of money, and it is equal to $1 million in today's money. Mm-hmm. So it was, I had to sell the stock I had. I had to really sell everything and put it into the store to make it go. I contacted my attorney, and he said, it's up to you. You can declare bankruptcy, or you can fight the fight, or see what you can do. And I said, I'm going to do every single thing in my power to pay for it, because it's all small vendors that were owed so much money. And so I dug in, and by the grace of God, little by little, my attorney and I developed a plan of action and a strategy, and little by little, and it took me 10 years, but little by little, I paid off every single penny.
And I want to just take a moment here and give the listeners a moment to process some of what she has just shared. So she brought in partners and in a way kind of blindly trusted, handed the keys over, and wasn't necessarily checking in, and then had this huge shock that 3 years later, this meeting that they're advising you to declare bankruptcy. And when you looked into the books and got familiar with what had been going on and realized that there was a debt of almost $1 million that was owed to all these small vendors who are relying and counting on that. And you made the decision to work hard and pay that off, not take that path of declaring bankruptcy, but you actually worked with each of them to develop a plan and pay that debt back. And I just think that's phenomenal. I think it's something that is a huge lesson for all of us in 10 years, day in and day out, making that choice to continue to work towards paying off what was owed. And then what did you grow your business to? And I'd love for people to hear that too.
Well, first, I'd like to say something that I feel is very, very important.
Sure.
And when I first took over, it was important for me to forgive. And this is such a powerful message for any person who's listening, because I couldn't have anger and hate and everything. It didn't mean I forgot it. It didn't mean that I ever talked to them or any of this, but it was so important for me to release this and really turn it over to God as my way. So that was one of the best things I ever did, and for this reason. Then I had energy, because it was taking energy away from me, and it wouldn't serve any purpose. So I decided I forgave them. And I then was like a horse with blinders. I moved forward, and I wasn't going to let anything stop me. I was going to pay that debt or die trying, which nearly killed me. But by the grace of God, I did. So we went from $1 million in debt, which it wasn't then, but in today's money is equal to $1 million. And after working many, many years, I was able to turn that store into $10 million in sales.
Yes. And what a huge accomplishment. I mean, the one paying off a debt on that level and that size. And then I'm also thinking all that momentum that you built, all of those skills that you gained in doing that, you were able to also harness that energy and grow it to such a successful business to 10 million in sales. And I just think that is huge, and I appreciate you sharing that journey. And anyone listening, I hope that's inspiring, because if you looked at her story part way, we do that sometimes. We can stop part way instead of continuing, and how that was such a key thing for you to do that on that journey, not only the hard work and the dedication, but being willing to release what no longer served, to forgive, and to move forward as really, really powerful. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
Well, it took years of determination, and I was able to open a much bigger store. That's why I was able to have that much of sales. So after 10 years, I was able to open a much bigger store, and it was a community. It was a great thing. I had a toy train that I had put in. I designed the store, and it went around the whole store, and people would have to go around. The mothers especially would have to take the children around, so they had to go through every department, before they could even leave the store. But it was a community. People loved coming, loved seeing each other. And by the way, on the train, every day we had a flat car. It's a toy train, a G gauge, and I put the special of the day. And so the mothers had to go around, so they saw that special every single day. So it was fun, and it was really great. And when I sold it, I had 80 employees, and they all loved it, and it was really a great place, great energy. The employees were just fantastic. And nobody does it by themselves, too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had phenomenal employees and business partners, and then I had my attorney who really had my back all the time. So there were so many good things that came. And when I didn't know something, I would take a course and learn. So it really was a blessing in disguise. And many times people think that worst things that happen to you, you know, it's the worst, but no. There is something to learn that is so valuable from every single thing that happens to you in life.
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And that is a really important reminder for all of us that sometimes those very worst things that can happen to us are a blessing in disguise and can lead to amazing things. So we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. We've been talking with the amazing Tessa Greenspan, who's the author of the #1 international best-selling book, Outhouse to Penthouse. And I encourage you to write that down, look for it on Amazon, get your copy. I know you'll be inspired and encouraged. And as we go to this next commercial break, I want you to really think about what is speaking into your heart and into your spirit, and give yourself a moment to hear it, listen, and receive. We'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you friended us on Facebook yet? Why not? Just go to Facebook.com/Voice America or search for the keywords Voice America. Once you are part of our Facebook network, you'll receive daily messages about what's happening with our shows, this week's featured guests, and new happenings at the Voice America Talk Radio Network. And you can add your voice to the always active discussions on our timeline. Just go to Facebook.com/Voice America or search for Voice America.
Get ready for High Vibin' It with hosts Lindsay Robinson and Kelsey Aida. This is an all-new look at self-empowerment and lifestyle design. If you're still trying to figure out the law of attraction, spirituality, self-love, and more, we'll break it down for you. You can create the life of your dreams and own your power. Listen for High Vibin' It. We're live every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Influencers channel. This will be 1 hour you will make time for.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-472-5795. That's 1-866-472-5795. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you gave yourself that opportunity to stop, pause, breathe, integrate, and really listen to what's being spoken into your heart and into your spirit. And behind the scenes, I was talking with Tessa a little bit, and there's so much wisdom and advice and insights that she can share with us, and you'll find so much of that in her book. So we really encourage you to lean in and get a copy of this powerful book. It's so inspiring and uplifting, and it's one of those books that you just can't put down. It's a great book, from the Outhouse to the Penthouse. So I encourage you to lean in and get your copy today. And with that, Tessa was just sharing a little bit of some of the accomplishments, because we talked this morning about earlier today, feels like a journey that we've taken. So earlier on the show today, we talked about some of her roots and where she came from. And I think it's good to talk about wings, so roots and wings. And so, Tessa, I'd love for you to share some of where all of this went, some of the awards that you received. And then I've got a couple more questions I'd love for you to answer too.
Okay. Well, things come to you when you do the best that you can. I do feel that things come to you. And so I had many, many awards. The SBA Business Person of the Year. I was the Woman Grocer of the Year nationwide, which I had one store. It was 2 stores at one time, but one store. And so that happened was really somewhat of a miracle, but many, many things and accolades. But it wasn't for that that you would do anything. It's really of the peace and joy and the satisfaction of knowing you did the right thing. That was, to me, the most important, that I did the right thing. And that was comforting in so many ways. And I'm so grateful that I had the courage to persevere even when things were rough.
Yes.
So I'm very fortunate in so many ways. And again, it gets back to my mother, her role model of never feeling sorry for yourself, always looking for the solution and looking for the rainbow and singing gospel songs.
I love that. And there's a rainbow on your cover as well. So I just love that.
Yes, there is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that important reminder and how it all ties together. And on this journey, I was thinking there are just so many moments. Your mother faced this, that you faced this, and forgiving and moving forward when those moments happen that just stop you in your tracks and are like life is suddenly different and you have to make really hard choices. And it could be in those moments easy to kind of contract, feel sorry for yourself, give up, not want to persevere and push through. And I'd love to know what helps you. What have you found helps you in those moments be able to tap into that courage, to be able to put those blinders on, like you said, and work hard and move in a direction? What have you found helps you do that?
Well, I have a deep faith, which helped me immensely. I mean, and if that was my saving grace. I would go to the bank, every day, and then I would just walk around the park and pray and thank God for the energy to just continue. And so I have a faith, and I today, still do. Actually, I meditate and have my prayers and readings every single morning of my life. And so it's really, that's my process, and it helps. It helps me to be on the right. And most important is to write down at least 10 things every morning of what I have to be thankful and grateful for. Because I feel that gratitude is, the more we're grateful, the more things come to us to be grateful for.
Beautiful. I love that. So even on those hard days, still finding those 10 things in those moments to be grateful for, I can see that powerfully shifting the energy and moving you forward, and then really tapping into your faith and getting that encouragement and that support to help you continue on, because this is not a solo journey. We are not on our own. And to be able to tap into that as well has helped you keep going and move forward in such powerful ways. And let's take notes. Here's Tessa is an example, and her book is an amazing tool and resource that we can tap into to help us. Let's learn from people and be coachable from those who have traveled the paths, who have gone through challenging times and have come out positively and moving forward and made great things from really challenging circumstances. And I love how you are honoring your mom, and you've gone back to your roots, and that she has planted such amazing seeds and gifts in you that you let flourish and grow and have continued to now plant in other people's hearts and spirits. And I thank you for that. I thank you for your willingness to share so deeply and openly with all of us and pour into us in that way. So I want to thank you for being with us today, from sharing and speaking from your heart and your spirit. And I would love for you to share how people can connect with you and go deeper for those that are resonating with you today.
Well, several ways. One is they can go to Tessa Greenspan, author from Outhouse to Penthouse on Facebook. They also can go to my website. It's called TessaGreenspan.com. So it's really easy. And there's a lot of information. And it's bright and happy and lots of good information. So it's really easy to get to reach me. If you like the Facebook, Tessa Greenspan author, then there will be a lot of positive messages on that. So that's what I do, is I post positive messages several times a day, and it's really my gift. And I am so thankful that it's important for me to pass on.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful messages.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And that is something for those of you who friend Tessa, follow Tessa, you can, every day you're going to be encouraged and inspired. She posts all kinds of positive things. And what an important thing to tap into during the holiday season and during those challenging times, to remember there is a rainbow and to pay attention to where we are putting our focus. Are we putting our focus and energy on the challenge and the difficult times and what didn't happen or we didn't have, or are we choosing to look at what can be built and where we are going and what that next step is, and making those choices that move us in a direction that serves. And Tessa has shared so much wisdom and insight and tips to help us on our journey. There's just so much finding the words. And so I want to encourage you to take note of some of those things. She's talked about choosing 10 things every day to be grateful for. So having that gratitude in your life. Taking a moment to have faith and tap in and go forward, do the right thing, make those choices. If you don't know something, become coachable and learn, take a class. You can build those skills, have people come alongside you. It's not a solo journey. And to stay connected to those things you've been given to bring forward and continue to make those choices to bring them forward step by step. Her book, again, is Outhouse to Penthouse. Please make sure to check it out on Amazon. I know you'll be inspired and encouraged. And I just hope as you get ready to go back into the world that you remember how precious and needed each and every one of you are. You are beautifully gifted, absolutely needed. And I want to encourage you to take great care of yourself and those around you. Be willing to share the amazing gift of who you are with another, so that as you go out into the world, may you choose to bloom where you are planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone. I'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Greiter, next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Influencers Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.